Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Draft Room. This is the NFL Draft Podcast of the Packernet Podcast Network. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. If you'd like to call into the show, please feel free to do so at 608-561-3243. We don't have any new callers today, so we'll just get into it. We've been going through all the different positions and whatnot. We will continue that today, and then tomorrow we'll plan on doing a mock draft. I think what we'll do is we'll have, since we did a first-round mock draft last week, we're going to continue that into the second round. That kind of solves two things at once, gives us a little bit of a deeper look at some other people. It doesn't duplicate the first round before anything really changes, and gives us a chance to look at some of the teams that don't have first-round picks. So I thought that's what we were doing right now until I realized I'm posting this today and not tomorrow, and it's like, oh, shoot, today's Sunday. Super Bowl is today. Well, I better hurry up and get this posted then. Okay, so the last time that we went through this, we did offensive tackles, which actually works out perfectly because today we'll do interior offensive linemen. That will be the end of offense. I think we've done it, quarterback, running back. Yeah, we did all the offense. So we'll do that today. Tomorrow will be mock draft Monday, and then we'll begin going through defense. May even spend a second on special teams just to kind of discuss who's out there, draftable, etc. We'll see. I think what we're going to do are the top 9, which sounds weird, but I think it's a good group of guys, and it encompasses everybody that has been discussed, at least to me. That would bring us out to Parker Brailsford. A lot of people have talked about him to me. It's almost roughly the top 100. He's at 103, Logan Jones 101. I'm shocked Logan Jones has not shot up the board. He's consistently just sitting there. It also makes it nice and easy, 3-3-3 for the different breaks. So without further ado, why don't we get started with Mr. Parker Brailsford? So first and foremost, I think interior offensive line, unlike some other positions, is one I'm very excited about from a depth standpoint. As a Packer fan without a first-round pick and a need on the interior, the fact that you've got guys like Connor Lew, who are considered lock first-round picks that fell because of an injury, but then on top of that, you got guys like Jake Slaughter, who people think is at or near the top on the interior. You got Logan Jones, who is an absolute freak. You got Parker Brailsford, who coming into the season, a lot of people talked about as the top center prospect in all of football. So there's a lot of guys with a lot of potential to be very good football players. Obviously, some of them are not going to be very good. But Parker has been almost exclusively a center. 2,500 snaps at center, 137 at right guard, which he only did at Washington in his rookie year. Really highlighted for his athleticism. Let's see, PFF has him listed at 6'2", 290. So I'm going to say good size. Other people would disagree because you want the big road grader types, which is fine. But, I mean, if you're looking for a more athletic, get out in space type of a guy, I think he's seen as one of the top athletes, very fast off the ball, known for having a very high football IQ, which is good for the center position. It's a need. He was named a permanent team captain in 2025, which is a very rare thing for a transfer. Really just goes to show his leadership ability. Some people are going to knock him for being a little bit undersized, and if you are a team looking for sort of a bigger road grader type, this might not be your top option, but I think that's kind of a silly narrative. It's just a question of whether or not he can do it. I mean, he kind of compares to a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, who's also got the undersized label. Now, I will say his run blocking has not been spectacular. He's graded in the 60s at Alabama for the last 2 years. His pass blocking grades, including at Washington, 78, 82, and 76. The only outlier is he had an 81 run blocking grade in Washington. So that'll be something to kind of keep an eye on in terms of possibly stylistically. A way to use him that he could be a very good run blocker as opposed to however Alabama used him. So Logan Jones, and I've been saying this for the Packer show for a while, I feel like he's going to fly up the board. So far he has not, and he may not. He may not move any more than where he's at. There are some things that stand out in the more negative side of things, I suppose. First of all, he is actually a converted defensive tackle. He was at Iowa. They essentially asked him to switch, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to do it. It was actually, again, Tyler Linderbaum, we'll mention for the second time here. He was at Iowa and told him, you need to do this. They've had some success switching people at positions and whatnot, so he decided to do it. His first 2 years were a little bit rough. He had a 50 pass blocking grade in his first 2 years, and his run blocking was in the 60s. Year 3, though, 2024, is when he broke out. 82 run blocking grade, 77 pass blocking. And then 2025 was by far his best as a pass blocker. I mean, just dominant. Still a 73 run blocking grade, which is fantastic, but a 91 pass blocking grade. His worst pass blocking grade of the season was week 2 against Iowa State. He had a 71 grade. Was his worst game. Absolutely insane how good this guy was as a pass blocker. Pure center. I think one of the things for some teams, and I wonder about this for the Packers in particular, as they seem to be wanting to add bulk to the offensive line. I think they've gotten worse since they've decided to start doing that. I don't know if they're doing that for Josh Jacobs or what, to try to run more power. But this is, again, similar to Brailsford, a smaller guy he's very powerful, very strong, holds records at Iowa right now for, I don't know exactly what lifts, but certain lifts. Feldman's freak list multiple years running now, but he is seen as a smaller, more athletic type, more zone, get out in space type of a guy. That's his, how people view him. Whether that's fair or not is up for debate. Oh, there it is. The Iowa squat record at 705. Reportedly runs a 4.940. Former state champion shot put in discus. He was unanimous All-American, only the 17th player in Iowa history to achieve unanimous status. 2025 Remington Trophy winner, which is officially recognizing him as the most outstanding center in Division I football. I mean, again, it's so weird that he's not up there. I mean, there were a couple issues early on, some basic stuff that comes with being a center, but again, such is the situation with a guy that's a converted defensive tackle. But the other negative for him is that he is currently 24 years old. He has a birthday in October, meaning by, mid-season this year, he's going to be 25. So that's going to also kind of hurt his draft stock a touch. I still think he's got to be a top 100 player, but so far he's not budging from where he's at. And finally, on this side of the break is Keelan Rutledge, interior offensive lineman out of Georgia Tech. Spent 2 years over at Middle Tennessee. Has exclusively been a right guard, aside from 43 snaps in his rookie year at Middle Tennessee at left guard. This is not the same as the last two. This is your mauler. This is your 6'4", 330-pound Punisher on the offensive line. People call him Big Red, kind of the same reason that, what is the other guy's name? The military-grade Ginger or something like that. Self-explanatory. He did seemingly cut down a little bit for the Senior Bowl, listed at 6'4", 330. At the Senior Bowl, though, he weighed in at about 6'3.5" and 316 pounds. Rutledge was also a Senior Bowl standout. A couple different things here. You got an article over at Chargers.com. On the interior, Georgia Tech's Keelan Rutledge was among the names also that had a strong week lining up at guard and center and showing his ability to do it both at a good level. Article over at Sports Illustrated, Georgia Tech's Keelan Rutledge named one of the top early standouts of Senior Bowl week. It says, according to ESPN's Jordan Reed, Phil Yates, and Matt Miller, Rutledge was one of the top standouts from the first day of practice. After playing guard exclusively during his career at Georgia Tech, the 6'4", 320-pound Rutledge took snaps at center throughout practice Tuesday. Rutledge showed comfort with snapping the ball and demonstrated that he can play any spot along the interior, answering one of the biggest questions scouts had about him entering the Senior Bowl. His size fits what you'd kind of expect from a guy like that, at least as far as his reputation. He's a phone booth guy. He's an aggressive guy. He's a finisher. One of the guys that doesn't just try to stop you from getting to the quarterback. He's trying to bury you into the ground. One of the better pass blockers. As far as his PFF grade, it's kind of on par with everybody else. But one of the most impressive things, and the stat that most people are going to care about, is sacks. He's never given up in his 4 years of playing more than 1 sack in a season. He gave up 1 in 2022, 1 in 2023, 1 in 2024, and 0 in 2025, which was his big breakout year, where he had a 77 run blocking grade. That was his first time ever having a good run blocking grade, and a 78 pass blocking grade. So kind of a big breakout year. He goes to Mobile, shows that he can play anywhere on the interior. So he absolutely put himself on the map a little bit. That versatility is going to be big. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we got Mr. Jake Slaughter on the other side. All right, Jake Slaughter, if for no other reason, he's worth drafting based on his name. But there's everything to like about him. First of all, he is one of the guys that it's debated who is going to be the top interior guy, top center, whatever. Saw this note here. A few team sources felt Lou would still be the top center despite his ACL injury. A few said Florida's Jake Slaughter could be the top center, and one source thought Iowa's Logan Jones could be the top center. So, very up for debate. I know when we do these big boards and all that kind of stuff, everybody feels like, well, it's, just look at the board, the top guy. That's what everybody, no, not everybody believes that. On the negative side, though, there were some winners and losers articles, and Jake Slaughter was deemed a loser for some of his performances. Here's what that had to say. There's a faction of people outside the scouting community who believe Jake Slaughter is the top center in the draft and possibly a day 2 selection. I've never felt that way, and my opinion was affirmed during the Senior Bowl practice. Slaughter is stiff, not very big at 305, and more than anything else, he does not block with a consistent knee bend or leverage, which will be his Achilles heel on Sunday. These are all notes in my board, NFLDraftGrades.com. PFF, though, loves him. Absolutely loves him. He spent 5 years at Florida. Didn't really start playing at any starter reps until 2023, where he had a 78 grade, 79 run blocking, and 78 pass blocking. The next year, he got his full-time starter gig for the next 2 years, 2024, 82 grade, 80 run blocking, 84 pass blocking. 2025, 79 grade, 80 run blocking, 84 pass blocking. I think I saw a video PFF saying he was the only lineman, maybe interior lineman, something like that had 80s for run blocking and pass blocking over the last 2 years. Something to do with one of the top schools. I don't know exactly how it was phrased, but as far as their grades go, he's one of the best in football. He goes up against top competition. He plays against top competition on his own defensive line. So he's absolutely proven it that he can get it done. It's just one of those can it transfer to the next level kind of deals. Obviously, as I just read, some people are a little bit skeptical. He is a Ocala, Florida guy. So he's born and raised Florida, played at Florida. It's probably an overstated thing, but you might question, do you want to stick him in Baltimore? Do you want to stick him in Chicago? Do you want to stick him in Buffalo? He's another guy that has not given up a lot of sacks, by the way, in his last 2 years, just 2 sacks, 1 each the last 2 years. Pro comp for Jake Slaughter, Ryan Kelly, Indianapolis Colts center. Former center? Is he in Minnesota or something, or was that somebody else? Either way, tall, athletic, technically sound guy. Somebody that you would think could be just as comfortable with a complex pass pro scheme as well as sort of a more zone rushing attack. Next up is Sam Hecht, offensive lineman out of Kansas State. I watched 3 different videos on how to say his name, and all 3 of them said something different. So I'm going to go with Sam Hecht because it makes the most sense. We'll start with the old PFF's 4 years at Kansas State. Very different results, although he only started the last 2 years. His run blocking went from a 67 to a 77, so big improvement. Pass blocking went from a 75 to a 78. So also a slight improvement there. But 80 overall grade, solid in both run and pass blocking. Let me read this note here from my the old big board. Kansas State's Sam Hecht is a love-hate prospect with team sources. Listed at 6'4", 300 pounds, some sources say Hecht is maxed out in his frame and has below-average power. The sources that don't like him say he's a very scheme-specific as a fit for zone blocking only. They feel he has a sawed-off body type, but he's a great kid, works hard, plays hard, and is smart. Other sources that like him more see him as a well-balanced blocker at the point of attack with the ability to protect the quarterback and get a push in the ground game. The sources that like Hecht see second-round potential. The ones that don't like him think he's a mid to late rounder. From speaking with team sources at this point, there does not seem to be a center prospect that is a true first-round talent like Graham Barton or Gray Zabel of the past 2 drafts. Hecht has played 1,650 snaps at center. He has allowed 0 sacks over that entire period. He's only allowed 2 hits in that period. In fact, 19 total hurries, just 21 pressures over 2 full years, plus a little bit in 22 and 23. Really impressive. I mean, those would be pretty good numbers for like an entire season period. He's a 4.0 guy, very intelligent. He was a Campbell Trophy semifinalist, which is the academic Heisman. Another guy that's seen as an athletic guy as opposed to more of a raw power guy. In fact, that's sort of the downside to his game. His concerns about his ability to hold up against the 330-pound nose tackles or whatever. But very clean technician type of a guy. And then finally, Connor Lew, one of the more intriguing interior guys in the class. A lot of people, again, seem to think he is the top center prospect. He was, according to a lot of people, a lock first-round pick. However, tore his ACL. That really hurt his draft stock. PFF is not massively enamored with him. However, he came in and played in 2023 about half of a season. 2024, he slots in as the full-time starter, plays really, really well. 76 grade, 73 run blocking, and an 80 pass blocking grade. And then again in 2025, he ends up getting hurt. He is one of the youngest players to enter the draft this year. So that's going to be a major factor. The fact that he is what? He was born August 30th, so he'll be 21 in August. So, I mean, it's a tough evaluation because there's not a lot to go on. You're basically grading him on 1 year and saying that he's a top center prospect or whatever based on what he did in 2024 and his age, but also subtract out the ACL injury. I mean, it's a tough evaluation. I think some of the positives for him, first of all, the fact that he came in as a freshman and played right away. He ended up taking over that job. And as a rookie, again, not the greatest in the world, but 65 run blocking, 73 pass blocking. Didn't allow any sacks for that half of a season. He's allowed 3 over the last 2 years. In fact, 2 in this last year where he played about a half a season, which isn't great. He's another 4.0 guy, seen as extremely intelligent. He's believed to be able to play guard as well as center. Pro comp for him, due to his sort of nastiness and intelligence, is Frank Ragnow. Okay, we'll take a break. We've got 3 more offensive linemen. We're getting into the top 50 range now. By the way, I don't even know if I really went through it, but Brailsford 103, Logan Jones 101, Keelan Rutledge 99, Jake Slaughter 89, Sam Hecht 86, and Connor Lew 73. So we're kind of in that 3rd round range for a lot of these guys. We've got a couple second rounders and 1 true first round interior offensive lineman. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, now we've got Texas A&M guard Chase Bisontis. He's got some versatility. He's played mostly left guard, 1,300 snaps, played a little bit of right guard, and then also played a good amount of right tackle. Right guard, right tackle was freshman year, but still played a lot of it. The grades are not nearly as flattering. His rookie year it was 59 and 46 for run blocking, pass blocking. It jumped up to 72-70, which is great, but then he took a step back, 62-70, as his final year grades. He's listed at 6'5", 315 pounds, so big, thick frame. 21 years old. He's a younger guy. He's from New Jersey. Went to Don Bosco Prep. seen as one of the more physically gifted interior prospects of the class. He's another sort of mauler type of prospect. He's not 330 or anything, but still big, thick dude that's physically dominant inside. He's got that more plays to and through the whistle kind of a attitude, which, again, I'm not trying to make it all about the Packers on the draft show, but we've had an issue with some offensive linemen playing a little bit soft, maybe not exactly doing anything when the quarterback gets roughed up, which is unacceptable. You probably look for a guy with that sort of temperament to play on the line, you know what I mean? One of the biggest issues has been penalties. He has 16 penalties over the last 2 years, 8 each on the last couple years. Then we got Emmanuel Prenon, offensive lineman out of Oregon. It's another one, literally 5 different pronunciations. Not 2 people said his name the same. I'm thinking either Prenon or Prenon are probably correct. This guy is incredibly exciting to me. Played at Wyoming in 2022. He played at right guard. He was good, 74 run blocking, 71 pass blocking. Then he transfers to USC. He moves to left guard. Has an 81 pass blocking grade, but his run blocking goes down to a 61. Still average, but fine. Second year at USC, just not great across the board. 64 run blocking, 67 pass blocking. Transfers to Oregon in 2025 and is like the breakout player for the offensive lineman. 88 pass blocking grade, 86 run blocking grade. Continued to play left guard throughout, played a little bit of right guard in 2025. Just one game he must have needed to sub in there. But absolutely dominant, and he is a big dude. He's listed at 6'5", 318, but it is like the amount of fat on his body is negligible. And I actually saw some photos of him from year to year. I don't know what, 24 to 25 or what, but I mean, the amount that he cut, he went from, like a normal offensive line body to like a rock solid. I mean, he transformed his body. He is a freaking mountain of pure muscle. And what he did at Oregon this past year, I mean, he has to be one of the best offensive linemen in football. So, I mean, it really comes down to how much do you trust it and those kinds of things, how much of it is going to translate to the next level. But hard not to get excited about him. He is a little older, 24 years old. That's going to bother some people, especially with his breakout being just in 2025 at the age of 24. A lot of draft people care a lot about breakout age as a metric. That's going to dock him quite a bit. Pro comp, Kevin Dotson, LA Rams, big physical guard, mid-round pick, massive frame, heavy hands. But that leaves us with one. At consensus, by the way, Prenon at 35, so he's right in the top of the second round, possibly slips into the first round conversation. At 18 on the consensus board, should be a first round pick, given, like a lot of other positions, the lack of top tier prospects. Again, I like a lot of these guys, but if we're talking about, one first round, one second round guy, maybe 2, whatever, could he go a little early? It's possible. For the sake of everybody not mispronouncing his name, he goes by Vega, but I'm going to give it a shot. Oliva Vega, I think is how you say his first name, and then Ione is his last name, so Vega Ione, or Ioane. That's how people are saying it. Vega Ione, whatever. Tough to say his name, very good football player. Seen, first of all, big dude, 6'4", about 330, elite pass blocker. That is he's, I don't mean to put him in this category, but if you were to sort of think about an NFL comp, and they don't even play the same position, but Penei Sewell, big, massive, mauling guy that is a run blocker and a pass blocker. Now, it's a little bit flipped. Sewell is more of a run blocker than a pass blocker, but that's the one thing that comes immediately to mind. It's a little bit more actually like Zach Tom as far as the pass blocking and run blocking breakdown. But just a big physical monster that does everything, where you look at the almost 80 run blocking grade and go, yeah, I mean, he's okay at that. But I mean, he did have one bad game against Indiana, but almost every single grade as far as pass blocking is in the 80s. He has one against Rutgers that's a 70, one against Indiana that's a 40, and even the 3 games that are in the 70s are a 78, a 79.9, and a 79.8. So he's not just good, consistently good, he's consistently very good. He hasn't given up a sack since 2023. That's 2 straight years. We're talking 1,500 total snaps, over 800 snaps as a pass blocker, 0 sacks. And he's one of those guys that can carry 330. So he's 330, but he's not a stick in the mud. He's an athletic 330. He can move. The official comp that I have here is Quentin Nelson, which also makes a good amount of sense. Massive human being, very smart and mobile despite his size. He is most commonly mocked right now at 22 to the Chargers, with Prenon at 28 to Houston, so both of them outside of the top 20. But again, Ione could very easily be inside the top 20, potentially top 15, depending on how, based on talent alone, it's not impossible at all. It's just a question of team needs and priorities, because there's going to be other guys worthy of top 15 inside the top 15, obviously. But he is, I think, worthy just based on his body of work, his physical freakness. And again, there's no such thing as a guarantee, but you feel safe with a guy like this. Like, it's just, anyone can bust, but you just feel like the odds are significantly lower with him than a lot of other guys. All right, we're going to leave it at that. That is it. We've finished our offensive line breakdowns. We'll obviously circle back around to some other prospects we have not gotten to over time. But again, tomorrow we'll focus on mock draft. And then after that, we'll focus on the defense. I'm planning on also, if I can ever find the time now, trying to do some stuff over on the YouTube over at Packernet Podcast, just because I need to get some visual stuff up for this off season. So, anywho, I'm out of here. You all have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.